A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Just a show of hands, how many of you are educators in this room at this point of time? Wonderful. So I believe that this presentation is dedicated to you. But it's also dedicated to each and every one of you because there are a lot of nuggets that I'm going to share with you that will be useful for life. And believe me, if it has worked for me, it could work for you. We all know that knowledge is something that we know, something that we learn. Education is how do we get it. But the most important equation to that is the educator. Educators, you and me. We make that difference. We deliver knowledge in the best way possible. Spent 27 years of my life in this world of education. And you know, not a single day I've had any regrets. Coming from a world that was so commercial before entering the world of education, it was something that I was guessing or counter-guessing myself. Let me tell you this story, and maybe after which you will realize that why is this guy so passionate about changing the norm of educators or changing the way education should be done. My first job was in the bank, but ladies and gentlemen, I disliked it every day. You want to guess why? Because I was not counting my money. I was counting someone else's money, and that was no fun. But while in the bank, I always wanted to be in the world of advertising. That was my dream job since school. And I worked so hard going for about 35 interviews. When I tell people this, they laugh. You must be crazy, Zach. 35 interviews, and one day, 2 offers came on that one particular day. And you know, I never waited. I just jumped into it, and I thought that was my life, the advertising world. And I enjoyed it, the creative haven, the experience, the people, the output was fantastic. But something kept telling me, take a break, Zach. You need a break. It's too competitive. Take a 1-year break. And I was looking for a job, any job, as long as I had a salary. Then one day when I was walking past a certain place in KL, I heard my name being called, Roland. Roland. I knew it was me. Very few Rolands in the world. So I looked back, and it was my former lecturer. And he yelled at me. He said, "Come here. I got a proposal for you." So I said, "What?" He said, "I want you to teach advertising." I looked at him and I said, "You must be kidding. Me teach?" I said, "I have no training. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to go about it." But he said, "You can communicate. You have the gift of the gab." But I said, "Hey, let's get real. Communication alone does not make you a great educator. There must be more. Tell me more." He said, "I can't tell you anything. Your class is this evening." Oh my. Horrible guy he was. But you know what? Today, if I'm here, if I'm talking to you, it's because of him that I made that decision to be here. And when I walked into class that particular day, remember this guy? No experience. I walked into class, I was nervous as a wreck. I was trembling. I did not know where to start. But the moment I started, I knew that moment was my turning point. That was when I knew I had the passion to teach. I had many offers to go back to the industry, but never once did I doubt where I should be. Hence, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make that difference. And that's when I also realized that an educator's job is not a job. It is a vocation. A vocation is a special calling. A special calling. There are so many educators in the world, and I've had the experience of dealing with some of them in the past. Believe me, I learned nothing. All I heard from them was the talk down. This is what you must do, or you will fail. So I vowed to myself, the day I walk into education is the day I'm going to be the change. I'm going to be different, and I'm going to make the difference. And so I did. And I realized that this vocation is a profession. You got to be professional, but you got to profess your duties as a teacher. You must be that magnet in the class. You cannot be a prima donna on a pedestal because you have papers attached to your name, qualifications attached. That's not important. If you can't deliver, that's a big question mark. So I went on and I realized that teaching was something that was worthy. I was able to touch lives, touch minds. I could see young people relating to me. And then I realized I cannot move. The many times that I was drawn back to the industry with huge offers, I always look at these faces in front of me at night. They were not nightmares, but they were beautiful faces because these are people telling me, don't leave. Zachary, don't leave. But I needed to be dedicated. Being in education, being an educator, if you're not dedicated, find another job. That was the voice telling me. So over the years, I developed a few things that would help me to become a better educator. I call it my recipes for life. I'm going to share with you some of them. And the first one is all about my ABCD. Attitude, behavior, character, dynamism. When we walk into the classroom, let's just say when I walk into the classroom, my students are waiting. When I leave the classroom, they are clapping. And when I'm talking to them, they are listening. Not because of the way I speak, it's the way I relate to them. I make them feel good by first me feeling good. There's never a day, ladies and gentlemen, I've ever thought of taking an MC. This is not a time to boast, but I can tell you plainly, I've never done it. Never done it. And that's because of the fact that shows my attitude to give your utmost best. Of course, I am a human being. Of course, I am. And there is a tendency that I will fall short. But you know what? It keeps me going. So every morning when I get up, I psych myself to be grateful for another day to make that difference in the classroom. My Monday starts on Sunday. I heard that. Monday starts on... When I shared this with some people, they laughed at me. They said, Zach, you need a break. I said, as an educator, there's no break. You're constantly thinking of ways of connecting. You're constantly finding ways to make your presence special. And so I did. Behavior, the words that you use, the style of talking, and your compassion. That's your behavior. And if we can connect in that way, we become friends. So I always tell my students, you are not students. You are friends of mine who want to learn. And that gives me a chance to share. That empowers them as well to be able to ask, to be able to take, and to be able to act. And that's a fantastic feeling. But what happens when you finish your semester? You need to leave your character home. Home as in the classroom. And that's the character they will remember. I've taught a few thousand students since the day I walked in 27 years ago. When I go to the mall, Mr. Zachary. When I go to the cinema, Mr. Zachary. The other day I was in the market, Mr. Zachary. Wonderful feeling. And it always leaves a smile because end of the day, that's what we get in teaching. You are remembered. But that's not enough. Your ABCD, your dynamism as well, is not enough. You need to have passion. You need to love what you do. And as I said, if being an educator is a job, then there's no passion. Because you're waiting for your salary to come in end of the month. End of the month is coming soon. But for me, it is about whether I got myself across. Passion, perseverance, performance. If you practice these 3 P's as an educator, ladies and gentlemen, there's not a day you will feel bored. There's not a day you're going to feel down. Because when you have passion, you're always looking for improvement. When you have perseverance, when you fail, and we will fail as educators, but rise up, because that's where we belong. And end of the day, we've got to perform. And we got to perform in a way that there is no tomorrow, meaning your performance will want you to come back for more. My last few words are going to be very personal. The one thing I also learned in education, take to your classroom the lion's mentality. Educators, don't be the elephant. I'm not insulting anyone. What I'm saying is this. If you have the elephant's mentality, which means you don't want to change, elephants don't change their mind. When they are young till they are old, they will behave the same. But when you go in with the lion's mentality, you are going to leave an impression. You're going to be impactful because the lion is a leader. And as an educator, you are a leader. You're leading young minds to deliver. You're leading young minds to be successful. And you have to be that example. You are that leader. You have to be courageous to share stories that will make them feel strong. Real stories. So storytelling is important. Being an edutainer is important. And a lion never gives up. So ladies and gentlemen, dear educators, take to the classroom the lion in you. If you can't find that lion, make that lion exist. It takes time, but believe me, if you put in the effort, the results will show. I'm going to leave you with a mantra that has helped me every day of my life. So days that I don't feel so good, days that I feel down, days when I have to meet someone and the news is, you did so much, you just didn't do one thing. And that video just now highlighted that point. But you know what? Create a mantra for yourself. And mine is very simple. I can, I will, I must. And that stays with me 24/7, 365. Thank you.